Signs a woman may be taking advantage of you. A detailed analysis asterisk recognizing when someone is taking advantage of you in a relationship or interaction requires keen observation of their behavior, intentions, and consistency. While genuine relationships are built on mutual respect and care, exploitative dynamics often reveal themselves through subtle or overt patterns. Below is a comprehensive breakdown of the signs a woman might be using you, with explanations, examples, and guidance on how to address these red flags. 1. Excessive focus on material or financial benefits. One of the clearest signs of being taken advantage of is when a woman consistently prioritizes your resources, money, gifts, or material support over emotional connection or mutual effort. Behavioral indicators. She frequently asks for financial help, such as paying for her expenses, for example, rent, bills, shopping, without offering to contribute or reciprocate. Asterisk, she expects lavish gifts, dinners, or trips, but shows little interest in non-material aspects of the relationship, like spending quality time together. Asterisk, she becomes distant or upset when you're unable to provide financial support or say no to her requests. Asterisk, her affection or attention seems directly tied to what you can provide materially. Asterisk, why this suggests exploitation. This behavior indicates she may value you for your resources rather than your personality or companionship. A healthy relationship involves mutual support, not one-sided financial dependency. Asterisk example. You notice she only reaches out when she needs help with a bill or wants you to buy something for her. When you suggest a low-cost activity, like a walk in the park, she shows disinterest or makes excuses. How to address it. Set clear boundaries about financial contributions early on. For example, say, I'm happy to spend time together, but I can't cover expenses all the time. Observe how she reacts when you decline a financial request. If she becomes cold or manipulative, it's a strong red flag. Discuss shared responsibilities openly to gauge her willingness to contribute. 2. Inconsistent or transactional affection asterisk. If her affection feels conditional or tied to what you do for her, it's a sign she may be using you to meet her needs rather than genuinely caring. Behavioral indicators. She's warm and attentive when you provide something she wants, for example, gifts, favors, attention, but becomes distant or dismissive. When you don single quotes T. Asterisk, her affection seems performative, like she's rewarding you for fulfilling her requests rather than being genuinely interested. Asterisk, she rarely initiates contact or shows affection unless she needs something from you. Asterisk, she avoids deeper emotional conversations or vulnerability, keeping interactions surface level. Asterisk, why this suggests exploitation. Genuine affection is consistent and not contingent on rewards. Transactional behavior suggests she's manipulating your emotions to maintain access to your resources or support. Asterisk, example, she's sweet and flirty when you agree to help her move or buy her something, but she's unresponsive or cold when you want to discuss your feelings or spend time without an agenda. Asterisk, how to address it. Asterisk, test her consistency by reducing what you offer. For example, don't initiate plans or favors for a period and see if she still engages with you. Asterisk, communicate your feelings directly. I've noticed you seem more distant when I'm not helping with something. Can we talk about this? Pay attention to whether she invests in the relationship without expecting something in return. 3. Lack of reciprocity and effort. Asterisk, a one-sided relationship where you're always giving time, energy, or resources while she contributes little or nothing is a major red flag. Behavioral indicators. You're always the one initiating plans, conversations, or support, while she rarely takes the initiative. Asterisk, she expects you to accommodate her schedule, needs, or preferences, but doesn't make similar efforts for you. Asterisk, she takes your time and energy for granted, such as expecting you to always be available without considering your needs. Asterisk. She doesn't show gratitude or acknowledgement for the things you do for her. Asterisk. Why this suggests exploitation? Relationships thrive on mutual effort. If she's consistently unwilling to invest time, energy, or care, she may be using you as a convenience rather than valuing you as a partner or friend. Asterisk example. You always drive to her place, plan dates, or help with her errands, but she never offers to meet you halfway or support you when you're busy or stressed. How to address it? Asterisk. Stop overextending yourself and see if she steps up. For instance, let her initiate the next plan or ask her to contribute to a shared activity. Asterisk. Have an open conversation about fairness. I feel like I'm putting in a lot of effort to make this work. Can we share the responsibility more evenly? Asterisk. Evaluate whether she's willing to meet you halfway. A lack of effort after this discussion is a sign to reconsider the relationship. Asterisk. 4. Manipulative or guilt-tripping behavior. Asterisk. Manipulation, such as guilt-tripping or emotional blackmail, is a tactic some women may use to get what they want without regard for your feelings. Behavioral indicators. She guilt-trips you into doing things for her. For example, saying, "If you really cared about me, you'd help me with this." She plays the victim to gain sympathy and prompt you to solve her problems. She uses flattery or excessive affection to persuade you into fulfilling her requests, only to pull back once she gets what she wants. Asterisk. She dismisses your concerns or feelings when you try to set boundaries, making you feel selfish or unreasonable. Asterisk. Why this suggests exploitation? Manipulation exploits your emotions to prioritize her needs over yours. It creates an unbalanced dynamic where you feel obligated to comply to avoid conflict or guilt. Example. When you say you can't afford to pay for her vacation, she responds with, "I thought you were someone I could count on," making you feel guilty for setting a boundary. How to address it? Recognize manipulative tactics and calmly assert your boundaries. I understand you're upset, but I can't help with this right now. Asterisk. Don't engage in arguments designed to guilt-trip you. Stay firm and redirect the conversation to mutual respect. Asterisk. Seek advice from trusted friends or a therapist to gain perspective on whether her behavior is manipulative. Asterisk 5. Disinterest in disinterest. Your life or feelings. Asterisk. If she shows little genuine interest in your personal life, goals, or emotions, it's a sign she may be focused on what you can provide rather than building a real connection. Asterisk. Behavioral indicators. Asterisk. She rarely asks about your day, interests, or challenges, but expects you to listen to her problems. Asterisk. She dismisses or minimizes your feelings when you share them, redirecting the conversation to herself. Asterisk. She shows little curiosity about your passions, values, or background, keeping interactions centered on her needs. Asterisk. She only engages when the conversation serves her interests or agenda. Asterisk. Why this suggests exploitation? A genuine relationship involves mutual curiosity and care. If she's indifferent to your inner world, she may see you as a means to an end rather than a person with value. Asterisk example. You share that you're stressed about work, but she quickly changes the subject to ask for a favor or talk about her own issues, showing no empathy or follow up. How to address it? Test her engagement by sharing something personal and observing her response. Does she listen and ask questions, or does she brush it off? Asterisk. Express your need for mutual care. I'd love for us to share more about each other's lives. It feels one-sided when I don't get to talk about what's going on with me. Asterisk. If her disinterest persists, consider whether the relationship is worth your emotional investment. Asterisk. 6. Inconsistent or convenient availability. Asterisk. If she's only available when it suits her needs or agenda, it's a sign she may be using you for convenience rather than valuing the relationship. Asterisk, behavioral indicators. Asterisk, she's hard to reach or unresponsive. When you need support, but suddenly attentive when she wants something. Asterisk, she only spends time with you when it aligns with her goals, such as needing a ride, emotional support, or access to your resources. Asterisk, she frequently cancels plans or prioritizes other people activities unless you're offering something specific she wants. Asterisk, her availability feels calculated, not based on genuine interest in spending time with you. Asterisk, why? This suggests exploitation. Consistent availability reflects genuine care. If she's only around when it benefits her, she's likely prioritizing her own convenience over the relationship. Asterisk, example, she's unavailable for weeks, but suddenly calls when she needs help moving or wants you to introduce her to someone. In your network, how to address it. Notice patterns in her availability. Does she only reach out when she needs something? Test this by suggesting plans that don't involve you providing anything. Asterisk, communicate your observations calmly. I've noticed you're only available when you need help. I'd like us to connect more consistently. Asterisk, if she continues to be selectively available, reassess whether she values you as a person or just as a resource. Asterisk 7. Lack of accountability or apology. Asterisk, a woman who's taking advantage of you may avoid taking responsibility for her actions or fail to apologize when she's wrong. Asterisk, behavioral indicators. Asterisk, she deflects blame when confronted about hurtful or selfish behavior, often turning the situation back on you. Asterisk, she rarely apologizes sincerely, even when her actions clearly harm you or the relationship. Asterisk, she justifies her demands or behavior with excuses, refusing to acknowledge your perspective. Asterisk, she expects you to overlook her mistakes, but holds you to high standards. Asterisk, why this suggests exploitation? A lack of accountability shows she prioritizes her own comfort over fairness. It suggests she's unwilling to invest in the mutual respect required for a healthy relationship. Asterisk example. After forgetting an important commitment you made together, she brushes it off with, "You're making a big deal out of nothing," instead of apologizing or making amends. How to address it. Call out specific behaviors calmly and directly. When you dismissed my feelings about issue, it made me feel unheard. Can we talk about how to handle this better? Asterisk observe whether she takes responsibility or continues to deflect. Persistent avoidance is a sign of self-centeredness. Asterisk set consequences for repeated lack of accountability, such as reducing your investment in the relationship. Asterisk 8. Exploiting your emotional support without reciprocation. Asterisk if she relies heavily on you for emotional support, but doesn't offer the same in return. She may be using you as an emotional crutch. Behavioral indicators. She frequently vents about her problems, expecting you to listen and comfort her, but shows little interest in supporting you emotionally. Asterisk, she seeks you out during crisis, but disappears when you need someone to talk to. Asterisk, she expects you to be a therapist without acknowledging your emotional needs. Asterisk, she takes your support for granted, rarely expressing gratitude or checking in on your well-being. Asterisk, why this suggests exploitation? Emotional support should be mutual. If she only seeks you out for her own emotional needs, she's using you as a resource rather than valuing you as a partner. Asterisk example. She calls you late at night to talk about her bad day but is unavailable or dismissive when you want to share your own struggles. How to address it. Set boundaries around emotional labor. I'm happy to listen, but I'd also like to share what's going on with me sometimes. Asterisk test reciprocity by sharing your own challenges and observing her response. Does she engage or redirect the focus to herself? Asterisk if the pattern continues, consider limiting how much emotional energy you invest until she reciprocates. Asterisk. How to protect yourself and respond. Asterisk. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Pay attention to feelings of resentment, exhaustion, or being undervalued, as these are signs of an unbalanced dynamic. Asterisk. Set clear boundaries. Communicate your limits firmly but kindly. For example, I'm happy to help sometimes, but I need us to share responsibilities. Asterisk. Observe patterns, not isolated incidents. A single instance of asking for help isn't exploitation, but consistent patterns of one-sided behavior are. Concerning. Asterisk. Seek external perspective. Talk to trusted friends or a therapist to get an objective view of the relationship. They can help you identify if you're being taken advantage of. Asterisk. Prioritize self-respect. Value yourself enough to walk away from relationships that consistently drain you or make you feel used. A healthy relationship should feel mutual and uplifting. Asterisk. Test her intentions. Reduce what you offer, for example, time, money, favors, and see if she remains engaged. Genuine interest will persist. Exploitative behavior will fade. Conclusion. Recognizing when a woman is taking advantage of you involves paying attention to patterns of behavior that prioritize her needs over yours without reciprocity, respect, or genuine care. Key signs include an excessive focus on material benefits, transactional affection, lack of effort, manipulation, disinterest in your life, inconsistent availability, lack of accountability, and one-sided emotional support. By identifying these red flags, setting boundaries, and prioritizing your self-worth, you can protect yourself from exploitative dynamics and foster relationships built on mutual respect and authenticity.